Chris Rogers, County Board. Go with you.
Nick Giuliano, Boys Town, co-chair Youth Impact.
Brad Alexander, Douglas County Youth Center.
Mark LaFleur, Douglas County Youth Center.
Amber Parker, Operation Youth Success.
Pam Murphy, County Administration.
Sean Klinker, Juvenile Assessment Center. It's the wrong agenda.
Okay, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Brad, let's go.
Okay. This May we averaged 85 kids in secure, 12 kids in staff secure, and 28 on the home program. The average length of stay, I think, is what is
85, 25.
85, 12 in staff
Oh.
secure, and then 28 on the home program.
Okay.
That was the averages for May. I think what's most concerning is the length of stay.
That's what's increasing the numbers.
Went up again, yeah, it's at 49 days is the average from January through the end of May.
I thought he was doing that.
Could you hold on 1 second?
Sure.
1 second?
Oh, I thought you were
Oh,
reofficial.
no, I saw that you all were in executive session, and so
Yeah, but I need to
you
slip out here to
sneaked
do
out.
that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Today we have 83 kids in secure, we have 0 in staff secure, and we have 26 on the home program. The last child was moved out of staff.
6, 0, and 80, you said?
83 in
Okay.
secure, 0 in staff
06.
secure,
Okay.
and then 26 on the home program.
Okay.
Last youth was moved out of staff secure on May 31. There'll be a resolution in front of the county board next Tuesday to make that official.
Okay.
We've closed. Epic the funding was not continued through Sherwood for Epic, so it will be done on June 30th. We had one graduation in May. He graduated from, actually got his diploma from Bellevue. That was May 25th. We got another one scheduled in July. We got parent teachers conferences coming June 13th and June 14th. Barnes & Noble's book fair May 6th. We received $543.52. Mary and Commissioner Borgerson had asked to connect with UNOA, Eastern Nebraska Office of Aging, to see if we couldn't bring back the foster grandparent program. So Mark has been in communication with Mary Parker. They've got some staff changing going on, and so the meeting's been moved to July 10th. Moved to July 10th, and we will meet with them to see if we can start that program up again. That's all I have.
Was the email all, or did they give you some written feedback on the everything?
What you saw and that you were copied on an email, that's pretty much it. It came down to numbers, honestly. Obviously, Mark and I have had some conversations. We appreciate the support that Sherwood showed over the last few years. It's difficult to really blame. I don't blame them for the decision that they made. I think it's unfortunate because when you're that close to a situation, you can see what's taking place. It hurts a little bit, but I understand why they did what they did, and I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision for them either.
And the program itself was an excellent program, and young people were earning credits and getting mental health services. And probably the saddest part, for the 2.5 years the program was run, that would have been at no cost to send youth, but yet we only received 2 probation youth that was referred during this time, and it possibly could have helped in a variety of different areas, but without getting the numbers, and that's what Sherwood was pointing to. They staffed us to be able to maintain a 10 to 15, and we were closer to 5, and even though it would have been a free program, we just didn't get folks committed to doing it.
We got 8 there today.
And we've committed to that youth to go through this month. They had already committed to going through the month for the program.
All right, I'll ask offline because, I mean, you mentioned mental health and what, I don't know, was that a part of the beginning, had it evolved or something? That
It
beginning?
was there.
Yeah, it was from the beginning. Mental health for the youth as well as mental health for the family, connection with the family. And that's been a part of the program from the onset.
Well, after June, you can put on the agenda and let's talk about it because I know I've heard stuff like that, probably some tweaks, but if that's the case, you get the numbers down back to where they were, see what can be absorbed within the current piece. I mean, see if there's a conversation that have it. So I don't know if you want to prepare some of that to have the conversation, but
Yeah, let's
I've always thought if the numbers, I mean, some of this now with the state stuff, you can solve some of this. That number got down to where it was to give you some time to be flexible with some staff and do some other stuff. So, I mean, I think there's a conversation to have. If that can be there, how can we make it flow and clean it up? So,
Very
if you all
good.
want to gather to be prepared to have that conversation, we can go from there.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd like to just sit down with you and just kind of have that conversation, get a start there if we could.
Okay. That's it for you?
Yeah.
Okay. God, I have a question. How close are you with Dr. Pope?
Well, we've met with Dr. Pope and with Dr. Slavos, and both are Savalas. I always say that.
No, I messed up.
And they were going back with CHI
Okay.
to come back and prepare interlocal agreement, and that's where we are right now.
Okay.
In the process of, I haven't sent anything for the interlocal to the attorney, just that it's coming, and but once we get that draft, we'll proceed from there.
Okay. All right. Sean, Jack.
First of all, I want to thank the commissioners for the resolution today, for expressing sympathy for our loss of Kim and your words. Thank you so much for those words. We will be fully staffed at the JAC at the end of this month. I made an offer for the data analyst, and that person will be starting the 26th of this month. It was a tough position to fill. Our top priority when that person comes on, we'll be working on our JAC annual report and kind of honing in on the areas. Some of the commissioners have been very, very generous with their time and letting us know what data points they'd like to see. So we'll be highlighting some specific data points that commissioners would like to see in the annual report, and hopefully then present to the board in August. Would run it through this committee first. OYS has generously helped us with data in the meantime, doing the truancy data and the status case data. We have presented that at the truancy stakeholders, and we'll be rolling that out to the community at the attendance meetings that are in the community and prevention in the next couple of months. We're working closely with the Juvenile Justice Institute. This group knows that in LB 561, the Juvenile Justice Institute was tasked with evaluating and reporting data on all of the diversion programs and all of the programs that utilize community-based services funding. And so a lot of our data flows through them and has been sort of on the front edge of developing across the state what they're doing. So we've been working really closely with them on the important data points to capture and in accurate reporting of data. And they have taken on an additional project for Douglas County, working with us on the risk needs responsivity model. So really matching kids to the right services, targeting their needs. So we'll be doing an additional study
Risk
there.
needs response.
Mm-hmm. And it just, they say, you know, RNR for short, risk needs responsivity model. They have just published a one-page information sheet about that I can forward. That's really helping guide the state It's what probation uses. It's what all assessment and diversion uses around really matching risks and needs to programs that target those needs. So we'll be having an additional study in Douglas County on that, that's on top of the work they're doing for 561. And that kind of flows right into the statewide diversion committee. There have been some top priorities working toward this next fiscal year on using data to inform all of our efforts on making sure diversion across the state becomes more consistent and uniform regarding using effective programs and overall using evidence-based practices. And coming up with a training academy so that all assessment personnel and diversion personnel are receiving adequate training around youth needs, trauma, implicit bias, all of the very basic trainings that folks need to be able to serve kids effectively. And I think I brought this up last time. One of our big training focuses at the JAC here locally is around suicide and suicide prevention and intervention. We have a lot more kids expressing the desire to end their lives, and so we've really been working with the Metro Area Suicide Prevention Coalition and refining our practices around intervening with kids when they're expressing suicidal thoughts and intent, and additional focus on really doing family engagement, meeting families where they're at, understanding what family challenges are to help engage them in services to serve kids. So that's where our training focus is this year.
This diversion committee,
The statewide diversion?
was that under NCJJ?
It's not under there. They
It's under
that
crime
561. Yeah, 561 developed a position. That's Amy Hoffman that specifically runs that committee and
Okay.
works with Cynthia Kennedy and JJI too.
So that would keep going
It's-
no matter what. Okay.
right.
All right.
Right, that's protected.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Sean? Anybody? All right. Amber.
Okay, so to piggyback off of Sean, the risk needs responsivity model, in our upcoming newsletter, which will be released before Friday, the Operation Youth Success newsletter, will have an entire page which has that one pager on it.
Oh, yes.
So all of that's going to go out to everybody on the listserv, JJPF listserv, and our entire email listserv. So that information will be forthcoming for everybody. We received notice from Cynthia Kennedy, just a reminder that grant funds for community-based aid must be obligated by 5 p.m. on Friday, June 30th. Any grant funds that are not expended by that date will be deobligated to the Crime Commission. There is no rollover.
Carryover.
Excuse me?
No carryover.
None. No carryover. So just a reminder to all those who are in CBA-funded projects to make sure that their expenditures are where they need to be. The project period end date is Friday, June 30th. For next fiscal year for the community-based aid, I think most people should be aware because I have sent out notice to everyone. Douglas County Purchasing did post a request for proposals for CBA-funded projects. Those requests for proposals are due by June 14th. They include an RFP for youth prevention services,
This is for 17 money.
Yes.
Which
which begins
so is
July
that gonna
1st.
Come down on time.
We hope so.
Okay.
We're making our best effort. So again, youth prevention services, an RFP for peer mediation, restorative justice training, an RFP for refugee advocacy services, an RFP for youth initiated mentoring, and one for the youth athletics for violence prevention. All of those can be found on the purchasing website. The target population for services are ages 11 to 18 years. Okay.
So, everything is good that it was all intact. So, what do that position that was there for the attorney is that money's free to do the DMC coordinating, if possible.
No, I can't say that right now.
There's no cuts though, right?
We have not had a budget meeting. I can't tell you where we're at with that.
No, but well, I'm talking rhetorically then, in respects to though, but the money, then because we submitted it with the county attorney, and they said no, there's some money free.
But we haven't received the
We
final.
we
award,
haven't
have
we don't have the final governor signed approved budget in hand yet. We put the RFPs out to get ahead of the process.
Okay, then I didn't hear that they were staying to cut.
We
So-
don't have a final, so I can't answer that question today.
Why wouldn't we have a final when the budget's done?
We
That's what
just
I'm saying. And I
don't.
didn't see
Current
anything
commission
in.
hasn't
We
said
just
it.
don't yet.
Okay. You want me to call to her? Because I didn't
No.
see anything. Okay, can you make a call to her?
Yes.
To see, because I didn't see anything in there that was cut.
Right, but we still have to be waiting for the
Official letter.
yes.
But can she just verify it? Since nothing came, I didn't see anything on the floor, and I didn't hear anything from anybody about that. So,
I'll let you know.
all right. The other business piece I mentioned to you last time, some movement about this one-stop facility. Well, it's picked up a little traction and some momentum, but what's going to happen first is the Crime Commission is doing a study. So they're going to pay for the study. And once the Crime Commission looks through this study, then there'll be some options, because the conversation was kind of to go through the existing place that was there. I don't know where this will go or where it'll go, but I'll at least personally keep open to the possibility. Once that study happens, then conversation will probably pick up a little bit about how do you make this happen to some degree.
You're talking about the juvenile justice campus?
Yeah.
And who from the crime commission is going to be doing the study? Or they?
No, sorry, Building Commission.
Oh, good. Okay,
Commission over
okay.
here, sorry. So the Building Commission is going to do the study. I don't know what the due date is for it to be done, but once it gets done, there's some conversation to pick up and see whatever options are in there. So,
Are they reaching out to anyone to help with that study?
I don't, but Jerry's at the table. So we can keep contact through Jerry's giving updates, because there was some preliminary work that he did and gave to me that was talked through with a couple of people, but it couldn't really see the light of day until that bond issue happened. So now that that's happened, this has moved in another direction. It's come up at the Building Commission's meeting, which means some money will be going, somebody will go there to lay it out and really see what the options are. So once that's developed, it'll come back in the room and things will go from there. So that's where that is, and I'll keep you all abreast as that happens. So I mentioned the last meeting, but I just want to say regarding the NCJJ, I think the fact that when the state decided not to keep that ended a lot of efforts, one of them being the DMC piece, but the state JDI has taken that up. So now there's just a lot of conversation going on with state JDI and some other people to kind of find out what state JDI's role will be in kind of keeping the coordinated discussion about DMC together. And possibly that statewide assessment that was going to be there to see about how you find out doing that. Is that a conversation with, the Nebraska Juvenile Justice Association, or is that another conversation with a couple of private funders to see if they can put that state assessment together to see where we are compared to where we were a couple of years ago when that study was done, to kind of keep the state DMC effort alive.
I sure would like to be connected to that effort.
Well, when it's together and final, I'll let you know. But
Thank
right
you.
now, I think the part of it is just kind of trying to find a place, because right now there's not going to be there won't be a dedicated resource, and the conversation, because CBA gives people some flexibility, the conversation probably should be just rising up in pertinent places. So that's what that is in that respect. Other than that, everything's kind of going along pretty much, and that's pretty much about it. I would keep a eye out, you all, just on a bigger view of, it usually doesn't have any ramifications, but you got a new city administration, meaning just a new term, and you got some new players. And they did mention last night, the swearing in ceremony, that there's going to be some probably an article that something's gonna happen with North Omaha, so I don't know what type of windows this opens up to push some or solve some issues that have been stuck in the blocks for a while, where you can't get full throatedness to move through. Now that the political will is there around DMC, there may be some things to move forward on there, so I'm just saying keep your eyes open in some regards, because when the window opens, things need to get put through, so. And if this window opportunity opens, I'm gonna try to shove as much stuff we can through it, so. Other than that, that's pretty much about it.
Thank you.
July, most likely because of, the 4th, we probably won't, so I would plan to get together then and give you whatever additional update I have on the building, what happens in August, but in the meantime, I don't know if we want to set a time to get together and try to lay this out and see really the intricacies, what's there, what's possibility to, keep or mold into some of it, because there may be some windows there. All right,
Great.
appreciate it.
Excuse me, I have a concern. I think you meant Commissioner Rogers, that I've been concerned because these meetings happen infrequently and there weren't always recordings made, and just today I wanted to ask whether or not the meeting was recorded, and it turned out it wasn't, and I mean the meeting started, 15 minutes late. And there was a presentation about DCYC activity, and none of that now will be recorded for
That's
anybody.
not true to
Well, video recorded, because as you know, some of the other subcommittees, they religiously video record the meetings and they're posted on YouTube, and we just had a discussion in front of the full county board about the fact that lots of people are using YouTube to watch some of these different meetings. So I just personally think it's important that that happen. And I have written and requested information from various people that are involved in these initiatives, including staff at Sherwood and OIS, and I received no response at all to any of my inquiries. So I think that's troubling, especially since, from what I understand, the stated goal here is to enact any number of different reforms and to increase public awareness and participation.
The answer to your comment is to work from the top. I would challenge what you're saying in regards to the committee, because the committee is probably one of the most consistent meeting committees that there are of all of them. And it's probably been that way for realistically probably about 8 years. The first Tuesday at 1 has been the standard time for a while now. And changes may happen if it comes in budget season or some other things of that sort. So that's on the record. No meeting happens with me solely. So the clerk is at every meeting. So every meeting that's ever happened of this committee is on the public record. Ever since they started,
Video?
ever since they started YouTube, that's been there. You can go out and find it. So that's your answer
And
without.
the meeting happens how often, would you say?
Meeting happens every month,
Like for the past 2 years, it's happened every month.
Every month, unless it's budget season. That's a fact. And they get heads up when budget happens because budget trumps that. And most of them have to present the budget. And so.
But there were no presentations for the budget. And I don't want to get off
No,
track.
that's
'cause
not,
I
no,
know-
I'm asking you a question. It's not presentations for the budget in here. The only time it doesn't meet was when we did the budget up here in this room. And most likely the budget hearings would 1 to 3. So in consideration of their time, we get updates and go from there. Budgets happen on the floor this year, and the meeting is met every month. That's why I wanted to meet this month, because they're going to be off. Does it meet every month? No. Holidays coming away, so it could be a holiday, or it could be some things pertinent to their schedule. Your questions about OIS, I would challenge that. I think we've tried to answer most of those to the best ability that we can. And it's been stated several times that Sherwood is a private organization, and they have free liberty to answer those at their request. So I would refer you back to them, and there's nothing that we can do in some respects to what they will answer. And what was the other part of it? As far as us coordinating reform, every issue that's been involved has been brought up in here, and brought up in here to keep the board abreast. And so
I thought though that I heard several commissioners indicate that they really weren't up to speed on what was happening in these various subcommittees. I thought that's what I heard today.
That's their opinion. So my opinion is different. I think the committee should be there because the fact is, some of them choose not to come to the committee meetings. So that's not my deal. Each person is interested in certain topics to the level that they are. So, you know, and while that point's brought up, Brad, are you all ready for your monthly deal?
Next Tuesday.
Okay.
Yep.
So since that period of time, there's been a monthly juvenile report similar to the adult report that goes to the board. So I definitely appreciate your concern, and I think, you know, the committee's been pretty consistent. Anybody else? Okay, we adjourn. See you all in August.
It won't be near as long as last time.
No, it won't. But Ed, while we talk about that
Hey, do you
epic deal,
walk out?
I'm going to talk to you all because I'm going to slowly move through this data memo.
Yeah,
again.
but they haven't.
And there'll be a lot of
I've
thought
been
questions that mine would be exactly
a
what you
regular
want.
follower of this.
the data
So,
committee,
Oh, I need
so
that.
you know,
I need
I'm
that
sure.
little
The
sheet.
reader?
Yeah, thank you.
come to these meetings too, the more
But you
your
know where?
questions.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm familiar with how it works, and
Well, you,
Yeah.
you do watch.
Saying, you know,
Oh, yes,
you open
I
the
watch.
doors in,
I encourage
think
them
a lot of
to
that
watch
is-
too.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
Okay. I'm hoping somebody
So
will.
just-
Oh, yeah, people do. I
Thank
think more
you.
than you know.
The mics, or do you have that?
I don't do anything with the mics.
Oh, okay. I usually turn them off.
That's not my department.
I've got to stop it.
There was the wrong agenda. It's service committee.
Oh.
I think she brought the wrong agenda.
Oh, she did. Okay. Yes, she sure did. Thank you. Well, they were in executive session, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and I just happened to look up at my TV screen, and there was Chris walking out, and I thought, well, I wonder if he's going up to, and sure enough, and I got here as fast as I could.
Well, like I said, I recorded the beginning of the meeting. So
Okay, so I'll.
you have that. At least.
Yeah, we'll
May
just
not be video, but you got that.
we'll have I'll transcribe that and then we'll put on the screen that the video is not available for that time period. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you later.